Hi, my name's Liana. I like to sing, dance, travel, channel information, and tell stories. If you're new here, I'm Liana. I'm a channeler for DivineMother energies. This video is going to be a weird mix of things, me predominantly talking about singing and my journey to light language and sound frequencies. And just so you know, it is started this video at around 4:40 a.m. in the morning. Been up since 2 a.m. I'm in my pajamas. Happy equinox. Like so many of you, if you've watched my videos, now is the time for stepping into fullness of self-expression. So not just wholeness. So you might have the wholeness, you might know yourself, you might know your darkness and your light, but fullness and how you want to show up and express yourself in the world. And that's what a part of this video is about. For a while, since October, November, I've known that I'm moving away from the longer quantum hypnosis journeys and that those were just a part of my growth and not fully what I enjoy doing. The longer sessions, I enjoy the short channeled sessions that are very tailored to the person. I enjoy connecting with people on a one-on-one way and giving them guidance and channeled information. And so I packaged those up into courses and bundles because if you still wanted the benefit of those, I wanted you to be able to receive them in some way, and started moving towards more of the channel journeys, healing journeys, and custom journeys. But I still was receiving that most of my business was not who I am anymore. And there's parts of it that I know I will continue to do and take with me. But to step more into the things that I enjoy doing, which are singing, dancing, channeling information, telling stories, writing, and travel. Because before I started my business, which I started it almost exactly a year ago, I worked in student travel and study abroad for 8 years for a large journalism school doing media-oriented study abroad programs and professional programs. You think I'd be a better YouTuber? So I'm figuring that out, and while I figure that out, I'm sharing a song with you and some stories about my light language and how that came to be. But I have started focusing more on how to incorporate travel into my business, into a healing way, into helping others find the full expression of self through immersing themselves in a different culture, through stepping outside of their comfort zone, through exploring their creativity in different places, and seeing how others have done that under different circumstances and seeing the resilience of spirit. So one place that's come up is Spain. I specifically had transmoth come up, but that's probably because at the time I was thinking about witch wounds, and to try to plan it to be there around Friday the 13th. So if you're interested in learning more about that, I am trying to gather interest as it still takes shape. So indicating interest is very important. The links for that are down below. And you can read more about the concept and the journey itself there. But I'll do another video about that. That's not what this video is about, but I did just want to mention it because it fits into this figuring out what you actually like to do. So like I said, hypnosis was just a part of my growth, mostly of opening up my gifts, giving me the confidence to do my own customized journeys and channel journeys, opening my telepathy, and connecting with other people that I needed to connect with, had karma with, and things to work out. But I actually don't like the long format. But I believe in all the values and benefits of it. But one thing I do like to do is singing. I joke recently with people that I've talked to that I'll never be paid for singing. That's probably true. I mean, I'll never make a record or or anything like that, but as a healing modality or a sound healing tool, maybe. And so I want to share, in light of this stepping into fullness of self, I want to share my sort of attitude towards singing before my light language and sound languages were activated, because it shows sort of small ways as a child where our true passions are suppressed. And while the adults probably thought that nothing was wrong, they weren't doing anything wrong, they weren't suppressing anything because they were just being themselves, how children internalize it and make it a big part of who they are. So I'm going to share 2 stories about that. One is when I was in elementary school, I tried out for chorus. It was one of the elective, like, activity-based courses, but you had to be accepted into it. And then there was also some after-school commitments, pageant type things going on. And when I tried out for chorus, I didn't get in. And I was very upset about that because I loved to sing even as a child. And we were learning how to write letters to teachers. And I chose to write a letter to the chorus teacher about how I didn't get into chorus, and I really loved singing, and I wanted to learn how to sing. And how could I learn how to sing if I didn't get into chorus? So I wrote that letter, and she let me in, which is great. Yay. Standing up for myself as a 9-year-old. And I got in, but I never connected in the way that my 9-year-old self wanted to, in the way that I needed to learn how to sing, in the way that I needed to feel like I was wanted in that space or welcomed in that space. Because of that, and feeling unsupported in that situation, and then also feeling unsupported by my parents in a lot of activities I did just because of their own personal experiences, not because they didn't want to support me, I sort of let the singing, the chorus, fade away. Another thing is when I would sing around my mom, she would always tell me to stop. And sometimes she would tell me to stop in sort of a joking way, but that would be like, oh God, please don't sing. Like it was like the worst thing or the most annoying thing, in a very exaggerated way that I internalized. And I'm sharing that because it's something that stuck with me. It's something that made me afraid to sing, as well as other things. But I also feel it was a necessary part of my journey just because my voice is such a part of who I came here to be, that I needed to work through that, and I needed to work through certain things. And I remember since probably I was like 18 or 19, people will ask you, what's one thing you wish you could do if you could do anything? Or what do you really love to do and want to do more of? And mine was always singing. And if I would joke, if I could sing, I would do really great things. Sort of a flippant way to divert attention to, I really wanted to sing. And so now I'm going to tell you about awakening, opening my voice, my sound language, and light language. There are many different pieces to this that all connect in. But I'm going to talk about like when it was specifically related to my voice and sound language. So I knew I had been doing quantum journeys, past life regressions, reading, healing, reflecting, connecting with my guides and higher selves, and I knew how to activate my light language. And light language was something I was exposed to very early on after my awakening in August 2023, but not something I was drawn to, which is funny because a lot of things that I'm not drawn to are really important for me when they need to be. They become important when they need to be. So I was curious about it. I was curious about what kind of light language would resonate with me. So I did a few things early on, and then I kind of let it fade away. I didn't seek out listening to many other people's light languages or seeing them do light language. But I knew, I had a knowing at some point that just came in, that to activate my light language, I would do it myself, which I think a lot of people, it's like spontaneous, or they hear people speak light language and then theirs is activated, or they go to an activator to have that activated. And mine was, I would activate mine myself by chanting a past life name of mine, which was my name in Lyra, or my role in Lyra, because I know not everyone in Lyra knew that name. It also happens to be a name of one of the Divine Mothers that I channel, but that will be revealed later. It's being reserved for some books I'm supposed to write. I didn't want to do it for a while. I hesitated because I felt like I needed to be in it, in the light language, when I activated it, like practicing and putting effort on it, which for me actually was not the case as much as I thought it would be. And so then it became time to activate light language. I do say I'm a telepathic channeler. I'm also telepathic in general. But I have a lot of control over that. At one point, I didn't, when it first started to come in. And when it first started to come in, which this could have been all planned to activate my light language, there was a language that came in that was being spoken to me. I wasn't speaking it. It was being spoken to me telepathically. That my guides were like, no. And came in very strongly. And from that point, they were like, you need to activate your light language so you know what's happening and you have yours. And so I did, by chanting, until I felt the light language being activated, until I felt it moving around my field. Then after that, my guides would come in with number activations for myself or for others, where I would chant or sing the numbers until it was felt in my field. Then they would give me sound activations, and I thought they were just activations. Every time I would ask, what's the activation for? Because I didn't want to activate something that I didn't actually want. And I thought they were just activations, but the sounds would be, they would come in for, I would get the letters for them. And sounds, letters configured in a way that I would not know how to pronounce. And so I just let it intuitively come out. And it would come out from different parts of the body, depending on what the sound was. Sometimes I would get it wrong and have to do it again. But it, nasal, throat, diaphragm, chest. So they're giving me those activations. I had decided to do this guide portrait that one of my friends was doing, because her visuals that she gets clairvoyantly are so vivid that I was very curious about what she would see and who would come through. So I did that. And when she was doing that, she heard singing. And she was like, it sounded like the song from Frozen, which led me on a path to indigenous Scandinavian cultures and singing and Sami yoiking, which yoiking is an indigenous style of singing that sounds like a lot of other indigenous styles of singing. Some of it sounds similar to yodeling. Some of it is very repetitive sounds. And they do it to invoke nature. They do it to invoke other people as a way of honoring other people. And as I was listening to Sammy yoiking and other indigenous styles of singing, I felt a lot of energy. And as I started to learn more about yoiking, what it is, how they do it, why they do it, I had the knowing of what they're actually doing, if they know it or not. Because there's a myth that it comes from elementals, elves and fairies. And I had the knowing that what they were doing when they write a yoik for the wind, for a river, for the moon, for a person, is they're tapping in to the frequency thread, which is what I call them, of that. And allowing it to come out in the way that they bring it through their body, through their culture. And then I started to allow the winds to teach me to sing. The moons, the rivers, the land. Sometimes I'll be drawn to sing for a land like Iceland or the Yucatan or Peru, and I just allowed that to come out of me. When I first started singing, it just kind of spontaneously happened when I set my intention to practice my light language, and I was surprised by the duration, the depth, where I could hold the sound in my body. And sometimes my voice will change drastically depending on what I'm singing for. And so now I'm going to share a song with you, and I'm sharing it because when I've checked in the past 3 or 4 days, I've known that something is coming, a shift is coming, and within me, as it is in a lot of us. I don't fully understand what that's fully going to look like. Of course, I had expectations. I still do, still waiting on one of those. Every time I would check in about the next step, I would get 2 things: heal and sing, heal and sing. And when I would ask, heal myself? No, you don't need to heal yourself. And what do you want me to sing? And it's just sing, which I have been doing, but it feels like they want me to share it more. Like I said, it's very shamanic, very shamanic. It's it's light language. It's a sound frequency, a sound healing frequency. I would say, I'm not going to be a pop singer. I don't have expectations to be one. And it is what it is. And hopefully you feel some frequencies through it. It's going to be a collective healing song with maybe some Atlantean and Lemurian frequencies for those of you who need them. But primarily the sounds I pull from, I call the light language of the all. If you're interested in receiving or feeling the energy of it, so just taking a few deep breaths into your heart space and allowing yourself to receive. And if you do feel something, I'd love to hear it in the comments below. Lo la la ma la ha lo. Hello ma hello 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 lo la la ma hello la la mo. Kola ya hello ya ma lo he. Oh ma la hello Koliakala me ala ha Ola 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 he Akala Elahumma la halia holoma. Elia lola holia ha. Kulia malo yata lola. Washala lo mala. Kurua makala kaoli alalam. Nikia la leokala olu. Maela haloria loria kaola. Mialo miala yalelo. Ala malalo yakalo yala moriam. Akamala horia ha. Holia halia ho. Akalo yala lo ya ha. Ola hello home. Eshamala le malao. Kulia lialo hala halo horum. Kuru ayalam. Yala home. Hello. Lo aha. Kuru aha. Oh malaha. Okay. So, there you go. There's a song. If you felt anything, let me know. Like I said, I don't fully have all the pieces of how this fits. But I'd love to hear what you experience. And as always, please like, share, and subscribe. And check out the links below.